And here at Portman Road, Ipswich, it's Ipswich Town, the reigning champions of the Football League, who kick off in the FA Charity Shield match. Never before have Ipswich played in this cup match. Spurs have played 3 times, won each time. Both teams with their strongest 11s out. Well, Stevenson, number 7, Mackay for Tottenham, one of the 9 internationals in the Spurs side. Mackay and Blanchflower through to Smith. And Compton getting it clear. But now White, the great schemer of the Spurs side, to Medwin. Spurs playing with the wind behind them. Blanchflower trying to bring up the speed in Medwin. A capacity crowd of some 30,000 here to greet the champions and the cup winners. Henry finding Blanchflower. Now, Ledbetter to Ellsworthy. And here's number 9, the only international in the Ipswich side, Ray Crawford. Now away comes Spurs, and it's Greaves. Smith on the right wing. S. Smith. They stopped by Baxter. That's Medwin, and a throw to Ipswich. The number 3 is Compton. And to take it, number 6, Ellsworthy, who has a championship medal from the 3rd, 2nd and 1st division with Ipswich Town. Skipper Nelson. And a foul by Henry on centre forward Crawford. Referee there, Mr. Ken Dagnall of Bolton. Free kick to Ipswich being taken by the captain Nelson. As Phillips to Moran, Crawford, Ingham, and it's Stevenson missing all his waiting forwards by inches. Still this interim sparring by both teams. Both teams have extremely strong forward lines. Only Burnley scored more goals than these two last season. Blanchflower with the throw for Spurs to Baker. Ellsworthy, player of vast experience. It's Spurs throw. Blanchflower to Baker. Blanchflower again. That's White. Conditions should suit him perfectly. Comes Carberry, who wants a bad one. White trying to find Jones. The first time we've seen Jones in this match. Into Smith, and it's Moran coming back brilliantly. Out to Stevenson. Blanchflower to Baker. So 5 very good minutes of football gone, no score, and it's Mackay for Spurs. Maybe a shot. Bailey, the Ipswich goalkeeper, was doubtful until this morning. Perfectly fit though now. Strong wind in Tottenham's favour. That's Greaves. And Greaves brought down by Baxter. obstructed, an indirect free kick. No doubt Blanchflower are going to take this one and tee it up for Mackay or maybe Jones. Greaves is there as well. Mr. Dacknell calling the Ipswich players back 10 yards. So it's Blanchflower to take the indirect free kick. And Ledbetter hooking it clear. Greaves to Medwin. Once again, Moran back with his defence. The pressure at the moment definitely on Ipswich. That's White. Bailey out to Stevenson. Ipswich throw. Another Ipswich throw. Baxter, the right half. Will Baxter, very fine player indeed. Norman across to Blanchflower. Goal kick to Ipswich, who completed the double over Tottenham last season. It's Crawford up to Stevenson, but Jones just a little too fast for him. Again, Baxter with the throw for Ipswich. Now, Greaves, not seen much of Jimmy Greaves in this match so far. Carberry, a beautiful one to Stevenson. He's out of play. No, the linesman's kept his flag down. Crawford and the corner. Stevenson with the corner for Ipswich. Up comes Compton. Baxter. Ledbetter, and a lovely ball to Stevenson. Spurs having to fall back on defence now. White, typical White pass out to Medwin. Now Greaves. They take him by Bailey. White once again for Spurs. Smith back to White. That's Henry moving up to Blanchflower. Now Compton to Crawford. Crawford to his partner in crime, Phillips, and Phillips is fouled by Baker. Quick free kick by Ledbetter up to Crawford. Phillips waiting in the middle. Make it to Moran. Brown with the goal kick for Spurs. Medwin to Smith. Turf extremely fast, wonderful playing surface, the ball moving very, very quickly on it. Now it's Greaves. Greaves to Jones. It's over the line, goal kick. No score, 10 minutes of the first half gone. Extremely good kick that against the wind. Now it's Moran and Crawford moving quickly down the middle, but nothing like that quickly. Comes Mackay into Greaves. That's Stevenson again, proving a very, very dangerous wingman. Mackay to Jones. Greaves has moved on to the left wing. Into White. It's up to Greaves. Medwin in the middle, so Smith, but so's the whole phalanx of Ipswich defenders. Foul by Medwin on Moran. Carberry with the free kick for Ipswich. And Crawford back to Stevenson. Ooh, a bad one from Henry. The ball seemed to bounce awkwardly for him. So to Ipswich, and so far the standard of the football has been as high as one would expect from two such fine teams. Corner of Henry. Stevenson with the corner for Ipswich. Neat move from Carberry to Stevenson, and it's yet another corner for Ipswich. Spurs defending at the moment with 9 men. So there's such a fluid side. This concentration on defence. It's just the team is so fluid. 9 men come back when the pressure's on them. And a free kick anyway. A foul on Brown, the goalkeeper. Free kick to Tottenham. Ellsworthy with the throw for Ipswich. And offside against Ledbetter. Remember Tottenham Hotspur in the normal white shirts. That is after 15 minutes play. Now here comes Blanchard. Looks a beautiful ball, and it's Baxter who cuts it off. Both teams playing coolly and cleverly. Number Kine to White. Away goes Moran. Up to Ledbetter. And can Crawford reach it? Brilliant effort, both by Ray Crawford and by Bill Brown in the Spurs goal. Back come it, Ipswich. Moran now, number 8. Medwin, who's switched wings with Cliff Jones at the moment. Foul by Moran on Mackay. Both Moran and Mackay being spoken to. Henry with the free kick. Now it's Smith, number 9. And that's the corner off Baxter. Corner being taken by Greaves. In swinging, of course, to use the wind. Notice how Ledbetter comes well back in defence, the outside left. Is Ledbetter up with the attack now. Here come Tottenham, and it's Medwin. Moran, and a lovely one to Stevenson. Stevenson seeing a lot of the ball. Crawford waiting at the far side of the penalty area. Phillips moving into the orthodox centre-forward position. That's Phillips, number 10. That's White. Greaves. Covering of both defences extremely good at the moment. It's a neat one from Stevenson to Crawford. Crawford not having a happy afternoon. It's Blanchflower. Smith. Neatly intercepted by Compton, but it's a bad clearance, and now it's Medwin to Greaves. White, favourite position of his on the wing. To Blanchflower. And a brilliant shot. Goal kick. Ledbetter got himself in trouble then by misjudging the speed of the ball. So it's Baker. Blanchflower. Nelson finding Ledbetter. Out of play for a throw to Ipswich. Compton. It's a bad one from Compton. He's made 1 or 2 bad passes from his defensive zone. So it's Spurs now. Medwin. Greaves. What about a shot from Greaves? Well, that one was well off the target, wasn't it? Moran just hitting some of those passes to his wingman rather too hard. White across to Blanchflower. White again, number 8. Mackay moving up with him. And so too is Blanchflower. Blanchflower up to Jones, but Jones is caught offside. 20 minutes gone, no score. Smith back to number 11, Jones. It's White. It's trying to cover well in defence. Packing their goal now as Spurs come forward. There's Henry up with the attack. An appeal for hands, but it's a corner. Corner off Nelson. Once again, Jimmy Greaves going over to take it. That is number 10 of Ipswich, Phillips. He's watching Blanchflower in case of a short one. Spurs playing an all-out attacking game. Both fullbacks are moving up in attack quite a lot. That's Crawford. Crawford to Phillips. Can he get it? It's a beautiful pass. And a neat interception by Baker. That's the old terrible twins act of Crawford and Phillips. Now Greaves. Number 4, Blanchflower. Crawford after him. Moran back to his captain and centre half Nelson. Ooh, what a bad one from Nelson. White to number 11 Jones. 9 Ipswich players funneling back into defence. Stevenson coming back, short clearance of Phillips. That's Smith, and it's a corner. Having a rather 23 minutes gone, so midway through the first half. Rather strange to see the 2 Tottenham fullbacks marking the 2 Ipswich inside forwards. Greaves again with the corner. Obstruction by Blanchflower. Indirect free kick to the champions. Right in the centre of the picture is Jimmy Greaves. And Compton to take the free kick. White forward to Greaves. Compton to Phillips, and immediately challenged by one of the fullbacks. Oh, a beautiful one from Stevenson to Crawford. Phillips trying to make ground to get into the middle for the centre. He's ready and waiting now. That's White. Smith, but Medwin offside. Free kick to Ipswich Town. 20 minutes left for play in the first half. Ipswich Town 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Crawford, and away goes Phillips. Baker keeping a very close watch on Phillips. Oh, Ellsworthy a bad mistake. And Medwin not quick enough to take advantage of it. Ellsworthy to Crawford. And a free kick, a foul by Norman, elbowing Ray Crawford. Rather a dangerous position to give away a free kick, near enough to a penalty. Nine Tottenham players in their own penalty area. Jimmy Greaves coming back to make it 10 as Ledbetter takes the free kick. Now, Stevenson, and it's Mackay and Blanchflower together to save it. It's throw to Ipswich. Comes Baxter. That time it was Blanchflower. Up to Jones. Now here's the speed merchant. In comes White. And lovely breakaway by Tottenham. Stevenson to Crawford. It's Moran with Henry keeping a very close watch on him indeed. Comes to White, a glorious one from White to Blanchflower. And White is always moving forward for the return pass. And the seam bobs Greaves. And Baxter. Comes Henry to Mackay, number 6. Now it's Baker. Blanchflower again. Ipswich being forced back into their own defensive zone. The pressure really on them at the moment. As Henry across to Baker. Notice how closely these two fullbacks are playing right in the centre of the field. And that was the Spurs left back. Right back rather, way on this side of the field. That's Henry to Medwin, now to Jones. That's Greaves, in moves White. And Nelson rather quicker than Smith of Tottenham. But Ipswich just can't find the men with the clearances. Everyone's packed in defence. And it's Baxter getting the cheers of the crowd. Now, obviously, a long one from Dave Mackay. Neatly anticipated by Bailey. Ledbetter. Certainly, the constant pressure being put on Ipswich, but Ipswich are very dangerous when they break away. That's Ledbetter trying to find Crawford. Just 15 minutes left before half-time. No score. A lovely one from Greaves to Blanchflower. Medwin in the middle with Greaves and Smith. And Nelson, the centre-half of Ipswich, though he's not needed. The referee has given a free kick to Ipswich. Blanchflower to White. Jones to White, and he can send them in the wrong way with that lovely body swerve of his. And now to Ledbetter. Crawford. It's Norman playing superbly for Spurs at centre-half to Mackay, now Blanchflower. Medwin unmarked, there he is. White alongside him. To Smith, but bad one by Smith. He had a chance to find White. It's Crawford. Phillips up there with him. And Baker twice saving Tottenham. It's White once again, and up moves Blanchflower. Now Stevenson has a lot of room in which to work. The wingmen are being allowed a lot of room because the Tottenham fullbacks are marking the inside men. Ledbetter to Crawford. White to Blanchflower. Smith. Smith getting no change at all out of Nelson, except on that occasion now it's Greaves. Tottenham are creating chances, but the shooting isn't quite as dynamic as it normally is. And that's the score with 13 minutes left for play in the first half. Tottenham's throw. Here's Mackay. Blanchflower to Mackay again. Now, White, will he reach it? No. Mackay to Smith. Jones, Smith moving onto the left wing. Greaves calling for it. Elsewhere they're cutting it off. To Ledbetter. Brilliant bit of football by Blanchflower, and then by Norman, and it's Blanchflower who finds White, and up moves Mackay. There he is, number 6. White again, and up moves Henry. The Ipswich defenders performing stoutly. That's Moran. Out to Stevenson. Baker, the right back, was covering him and giving away a corner. Roy Stevenson, former Burnley, Blackburn and Leicester wingman, taking the corner. Now with White. Moves Baker with Henry alongside him, and Jones making ground now. Smith. Back again to Jones. Greaves hanging around in the penalty area, looking extremely dangerous if the ball can get across to him. Norman beating Crawford most of the time, now with Mackay. Norman and now Medwin. Norman to number 6 Mackay. Greaves. Now White. Trying the quick turn and running into trouble. So the Ipswich defence wins again. It's Crawford to Moran. Nobody on the right wing. Stevenson rather slow moving up. It's Crawford. Beaten by Baker. Greaves coming back to do some foraging. Out to White. Up comes Baker to Smith, down to Greaves, a lovely move and a goal by Greaves. Eight minutes left for play and Jimmy Greaves scores for Spurs to make it 1-0. Well, really, that goal was made by Baker, who robbed Phillips. But now the cup holders are 1 goal in the lead against the league champions. And it comes to White. Stevenson, but the referee has penalised that tackle of Mackay. So it's Carberry to take the free kick for Ipswich. Greaves to White, a lovely bit of work by White to Greaves. Carberry, fortunately for Ipswich, coming back very, very quickly. Carberry into Moran. Oh, Carberry, a bad mistake to Greaves, and up comes Medwin with loads of room to play with. Well, the odd moment of indecision, the odd careless mistake in this Ipswich defence, and that's the score with 6 minutes left for play in the first half of this FA Charity Shield match. Scorer Greaves after 37 minutes. Phillips to Crawford. There's Moran. Crawford once again, number 9. Oh, and what a wasted ball. And it comes to Compton. Ledbetter, veteran, outside left. Just not fast enough for that one. 5 minutes left for play in the first half. Spurs leading Ipswich by a goal scored by Jimmy Greaves to nothing. Moran to Phillips. Haven't seen any of the Phillips sharpshooting yet. To Moran. That's Jones. Quite a beautiful one to Jones. Stevenson selling a neat dummy, which Johnny White bought, and that's a beautiful ball way up to Ledbetter. Phillips and Crawford waiting in the middle. Well, the centre might have paid Ipswich better dividends. Now it's Greaves with half-time getting nearer and nearer to Mackay. That was certainly moving and it was certainly swerving. Ledbetter to Crawford. Comes Norman to Blanchflower. Laugh from the crowd as Crawford then replaced the divot he'd kicked up. That's Greaves. Smith. Oh, a neat move by Smith. A beautiful bit of football and a great goal. A wonderful goal. So Bobby Smith has made it 2-0. So Spurs with 2 goals in 5 minutes are 2-0 in the lead. Ipswich really up against it, but certainly on today's form, having to play second best to Tottenham Hotspur. It's Phillips with a glorious pass up to outside right Stevenson. That's White. Oh, Jones easily beaten by Carberry. Now it's Jones and Carberry, the right back, is injured. There's Larry Carberry. Seems to have stumped his foot. The play is still going on, of course. It's White to Blanchflower. This might well be number 3. And the referee stopping play now so that Carberry can be attended to. He's worried about his foot. It's about his ankle, I think, yes. That's a painful sort of thing to have to happen to you. Sniff of ammonia just to give him something else to think about. So off goes Larry Carberry. Chance for White to make it number 3. And Ipswich looking rather desperate now. It's Henry. Almost half-time now. Goal kick to Ipswich, almost on the stroke of half-time. By my watch, about 10 seconds, maybe a spot of injury time for that little hold-up. Carberry had to be taken off, the right back of Ipswich. The scorers, Greaves and Smith. Mr. Dagnall, the referee, looking at his watch. Any second now, we can expect his whistle. It's Stevenson for Ipswich. Shouldn't think there is Any time now for Ipswich to snatch back one goal before half-time. And the whistle has gone for half-time, with Spurs leading 2-0. There's the Tottenham team ready to start. The referee, Mr. Ken Dagnall of Bolton, is coming up. The linesman on this side, Mr. Burling. On the far side, Mr. Merchant. So with Tottenham Hotspur to kick off and to face the wind as well as the might of Ipswich Town, they're leading by 2-0. The goal scored by Greaves, 37 minutes. Smith, 42 minutes. So off we go for the second half. And remember to just keep a watch on the fullbacks of Tottenham. See how they're marking the inside men. There's Henry. Notice how far up he was. There's Baker, the other fullback. No, White playing as delightfully as ever. Blanchflower. Comes White again. Medwin. Blanchflower, number 4 for Spurs. Flag's gone up for offside. Mr. Dagnall waving play on because Ipswich are in possession. Larry Carberry, by the way, the Ipswich right back, is on the field again. And a foul by Norman on Crawford. Crawford is hurt. That's Ray Crawford, the only international in the Ipswich side. It's got a bit of a bang. Soon be all right. We could just move right a little. I don't know whether we could catch Carberry because his right boot is swathed in tape. Where he's Carberry just dancing around, is trying to get the circulation back into the injured foot of his. Anyway, we'll see him before the game is out. And Ted Phillips is going to have a blinder, no doubt, at the goal. Rather a damp squib. This is Mackay. There's Carberry, number 2, limping rather badly. Blanchflower. Now there's Carberry in possession. There is the tape on his right boot. Wind very strong, and remember, it's now in Ipswich's favour. That's where Baker is, you see, quite near to Phillips. And here's Crawford, the centre forward. They get a Blanchflower now to White. And to Blanchflower. White and Blanchflower have such a uncanny understanding. It's White again, making space for himself. There's Jones. That was moving, and it wasn't very far away. Remember that last season, Ipswich Town scored the double over Tottenham Hotspur. Norman to Henry. Medwin. Greaves. Smith. Medwin moving into the middle. And a foul by Bill Baxter on Greaves. Free kick to Tottenham. Greaves and Smith, the scorers. 5 minutes of the second half gone. Crawford, number 9. Neat one from Norman up to White. Baxter, this very promising right half-back of Ipswich. To Ryan. Now it's Ellsworthy. Away goes Jones. Just White, Blanchflower on his right. Up to Crawford. Ryan to Crawford. There's Baker looking after Phillips. Blanchflower still finding his men with this uncanny accuracy of his. Smith to White. Greaves. Maybe a floating centre from White. Well, it's a good job for Ipswich that Ellsworthy just got his head to it. That with Crawford to Phillips. Then the two fullbacks right in the middle. Notice them. Ledbetter back to Compton. There's Ellsworthy. Ledbetter, number 11. The boos are because the referee has not either given a free kick for hands. Indeed he has, so the boos were probably because the Spurs man kicked the ball away. John Ellsworthy with the throw for Ipswich. Smith to Greaves. Now what about the speed of Jones? He's got a half-speed Carberry against him. Up comes Blanchflower, number 4. Ledbetter. As Crawford got the speed to beat Norman, just to win a corner. Greaves and Smith are the scorers, and 8 minutes of the second half gone. Corner to be taken for Ipswich by Ledbetter. Here's White, bobbing up as he always does, all over the field, always doing something intelligent. That's Jones. Blanchflower. Medwin on the left wing. Jones to White. Watch for the floating centre. Those centres are usually one of the most devastating weapons in the Tottenham armoury. Baker to Mackay. Greaves. Beautiful one to Smith. A splendid effort by Roy Bailey in the Ipswich goal. Oh, now Stevenson, the outside right, bobbing up over here. Compton, well, he used to play in the forward line for Chelsea. Throw to be taken by Blanchflower, playing as well as ever. Looks an ageless wonder, Blanchflower. Henry to Blanchflower. Henry again. When did you ever see two Tottenham fullbacks so far up the field as Henry is, and Baker's just behind him? That's Jones. Henry. Moran. Up to Crawford. 10 minutes gone. Spurs 2-0 in the lead. Ledbetter to Stevenson. Ledbetter. The best Ipswich move of the match. That's Jones to White. Blanchflower again, moving up with the attack, always thinking about the game, always looking dangerous. Medwin, and it's Ellsworthy. Out of Mackay. Oh, and Nelson, what a mistake. Mackay. Oh, Ipswich really in trouble. Jones. Ipswich rather fortunate to get a goal kick out of that. And 12 minutes of the second half gone. Greaves and Smith the scorers. And hands by Baker. Otherwise, Ted Phillips would have been right through. Baker trying to claim that Phillips was offside, but Phillips had run past him long after the ball had been played. The free kick going to be taken by Stevenson. And the corner off Medwin. Ledbetter to take the corner for Ipswich. And it's another one. Tottenham now have every member of their team in their own penalty area except Smith and Jones. Oh, what an anticlimax. It's the first time we've seen a corner put behind this afternoon. Mind you, we don't expect to see it when we're seeing a game between the reigning league champions and the cup holders. There's White, Greaves streaming for the ball in the middle. There's Greaves, a lovely goal. A look by the referee at the linesman. Not offside, so Jimmy Greaves, after 13 minutes of the second half, makes it 3-0. a brilliant pass by White, making the goal. Certainly Ipswich not showing the championship form today. Jones to White. Greaves, Blanchflower on the right wing. It's Medwin, Mackay to White. Medwin to Blanchflower. Spurs just having a little too much for Tottenham in this, for Ipswich in this match. So it's 3-0 with a quarter of an hour of the second half gone. Greaves, 2 and Smith, the scorers. Goal kick. Norman to Blanchflower. White out to Jones. And White moving onto the left wing. Smith. Flag's got up for offside, and the whistle has gone offside against Greaves. The Tottenham forwards, all of whom of course are internationals, just moving with that extra pace, which is a little too much for Ipswich. And of course the Tottenham defence has calmed this twin menace of Crawford and Phillips. Ledbetter. Hands by Ledbetter, free kick to Spurs. Remember that last season Crawford got 33 goals, Phillips 28, so that's 61 goals between them. And today they've been very closely guarded by the Tottenham defence. Here's White. Henry up to Smith, and Blanchflower moving onto the right wing. There is number 4. White to Baker. This is the right back, believe it or not. Greaves. And Compton to Ellsbury, then Ledbetter. And Blanchflower calling his men back. No challenging in midfield. Now Stevenson. White to Medwin. That's Jones to Medwin. Oh, what's a beautiful clearance by Bailey to Stevenson. But the wind just a wee bit too strong. Now, Ipswich, to try and counter this move of Tottenham, have fixed up their own little tactical switch, even though they're 3-0 down. And that is that they're playing without a right wingman. Stevenson, the outside right, is playing it outside left, and they're concentrating everything in the middle to try and pull Baker and Henry away from Moran and Phillips. Mackay. Up comes Blanchflower. Now Stevenson has floated inside and he's centre forward with Ledbetter here on the wing. And up comes Crawford, a wonderful chance for Crawford to score. That was a typical Ipswich move with a long ball down the middle. Blanchflower to Jones. To White, Greaves. Mackay's on Greaves' left. There's Mackay. And Crawford, who was wandering around more than he usually does. Phillips to Crawford. Up moves Ledbetter. Feel that the ball's out of play. The linesman keeps his flag down. It's Moran having slipped away from Henry. 20 minutes gone, 3-0, Tottenham in the lead. There's Johnny White. He and Blanchflower are the real brains behind this Tottenham team. That's Jones. Greaves to Smith, and Smith is offside. The scorers Greaves 2 and Smith. 21 minutes of the second half gone. Ipswich have reverted to their normal formation. Stevenson has gone back onto the right wing. Phillips to Crawford. And Norman playing a superb game at centre half for Spurs. It's Mackay to Medwin. Mackay again. Medwin in the middle. White. Smith. That one hit the post. Now White and the corner. So White taking the corner for Spurs. Greaves has been taking them up to now. White back to Mackay. And again Smith caught offside. No doubt about it, Spurs in command of this game. Norman to White. It's Greaves. And Ledbetter got lots of time, lots of room. Henry beating Phillips, now to Baker and across to Mackay. To Smith. And the goal kick to Ipswich. Tottenham's football is much more fluid than the football of Ipswich. So much movement of all the Tottenham players. Mackay is up and then back, so is Blanchflower. Nothing static or stereotyped about it at all. Here's Mackay to Henry. To Greaves. It's Blanchflower again, popping up in his favourite position. Five men back in defence for Tottenham when Ipswich look as if they might break clear. It's Jones. White. Medwin, up comes Baker. Well, that just shows you the sort of game Tottenham are playing. That was the right fullback, Baker. Well, we don't often see that in soccer. Kick the length of the field, of course, with the wind behind it. Ipswich forward line, a big disappointment this afternoon, been very tightly held by Tottenham. Blanchflower to White and now Medwin. Mackay calling for it. There's Mackay. Yes, 20 minutes left for play, and Spurs are leading by 3-0. Throw to Ipswich. And a foul the referee has given, I think. Or has he just given the throw to Ipswich, overruling the linesman? No, he's given the foul, free kick to Ipswich, to be taken by their outside right, Roy Stevenson. Now Jones, are we going to see one of his electric bursts? Beaten by Nelson. Ooh, a bad one from Bailey. White finding Blanchflower out of Greaves. There's White moving in front of Greaves. Oh, what a brilliant bit of work by Greaves, and then to miss it. No wonder Jimmy Greaves lying down in amazement. Well, I've never seen so many dummies sold so quickly. Nevertheless, Greaves has got 2 of those 3 goals. Smith the other, and this very sporting crowd generously applauding Jimmy Greaves for that magnificent bit of footwork. Now it's Ledbetter. It's a bad pass. It's Norman to Blanchflower. Out of Mackay. Smith. It's Jones on the left wing. Notice White, number 8. Up to Stevenson, bobbing up over on this side again. Ledbetter. A lovely one by Phillips, but the goal kick. Oh, Blanchflower White combination in action again. Now Smith. Well, that was meant for Jones to run on to, but it was a little too near the goal for Jones to have any chance at all. Norman playing well behind his fullbacks to Blanchflower. Greaves. This is Ellsworthy to Ledbetter. Now Crawford. As Baker keeping a very close watch on Phillips, giving Phillips no chance at all. Jones. Spurs so much quicker into the tackle, so much quicker moving on to the ball, and using the ball so much better when they do get possession. Greaves playing his best game for some time. Lovely bit of football that by Spurs. I counted those passes. There were 13. Now Mackay penalised. And with a quarter of an hour left for play, it's Greaves 2 and Smith. Put Spurs into that very commanding and very deserved lead. Away goes Stevenson. Ipswich forwards promise so much, so often, but achieved so little. As White to Jones. White again, Jones darting into the middle. Darting offside, the referee waving play on with Ipswich in possession. Stevenson. Crawford again beaten by Norman, and Blanchflower there to help his colleague. White. Spurs always moving, always wanting the ball, always finding space and room for themselves. There are about 3 or 4 men now with space to work in. Blanchflower finding Jones. It's a corner. Once again, White going to take this one. Usual short one with Jones. Stevens. That's a beautiful bit of work by Henry, just cutting it off when Moran was waiting. At the end of this match, Mr. A.G. Doggart, the chairman of the Football Association, will present the Charity Shield to the winners. Goal kick. Greaves 2 and Smith the scorers. 13 minutes left for play, so unless there's a sensation, Mr. Doggart will be presenting the shield to Danny Blanchflower, the Tottenham captain. Number 7 is Medwin, number 4 Blanchflower. No, a move for that because the Ipswich defence had come up and Smith was offside. Oh, and now's a chance for Phillips from Crawford. That just shows you how hard Phillips can hit him. Carberry not looking too happy with that injured right foot of his. That's Ledbetter for Ipswich. Baker now forward to Greaves. Cross to Jones. And it's number 9 Smith. That'll be a corner of Baxter. It's Jimmy Greaves, scorer of 2 goals, to take this corner. Ipswich with 9 men back in their own penalty area. Oh, now Medwin. And White 4-0. And with 11 minutes to go, it's Johnny White deservedly getting a goal for the superb football he's played. Inside right, number 8, Johnny White, making it 4-0. So there seems no doubt about who's going to win this Shield now. Only 10 minutes left to play. 4-0. Spurs in the lead. The scorers Greaves 2, Smith and White. And here comes the singing for the first time in the game. It's White. Yes. Well, too many cooks spoiling the Tottenham broth then, and also fouling Nelson to give a free kick. Greaves. Now White. White's a very dangerous customer when he's in this position. And a lovely save by Bailey. The linesman says no corner, play on. Bailey could only have had the splittest of split seconds to see that ball. It's Crawford. Back to Ledbetter. Forward now to Moran. Out to Stevenson. Oh, and Brown almost misjudged it. Corner. Corner to Ipswich, rather too late to get them back in the game. Greaves has got 2, Smith and White have got 1 each. And Phillips, and that even hurt Dave Mackay. Because nobody can hit a ball harder than Phillips when he really lets go. Stevenson with this corner for Ipswich. Mackay there again, and White to Norman. Compton to Ellsworthy. Ledbetter to Ellsworthy. Ledbetter again, now Ellsworthy. And in moves Stevenson. A great ball, oh what a shot. No congratulations from Ipswich, though Roy Stevenson certainly deserves it for that cracking shot. 7 minutes to go. And it's 4-1 now. That's Crawford. This is number 3, Compton. And up moves Baxter, this very fine young right half-back. Greaves. It's Jones moving down the left wing. There he is. Now, White. And not often do we see him miss a chance like that. Still, even the best of players can lose a footing. 6 minutes left for play. Reeves to White and Smith for Spurs. Stevenson for Ipswich. Here's the Ipswich scorer, Stevenson. Now can Phillips get that one? Goal kick. There's Blanchflower, the majestic Danny Blanchflower, to the equally majestic Johnny White. Now it's Smith. Five minutes left for play. The FA Charity Shield looks as if it's on the way to White Hart Lane. Spurs leading Ipswich Town 4-1. Compton. Ledbetter to Crawford, number 9. Phillips. Moran is offside. Offside. Free kick to Spurs. Away comes Jones. Here comes Greaves. Medwin moves. It looks like 5. Yes. 4 minutes left. Terry Medwin has made it 5-1. There's Medwin, the outside right. And fine anticipation by Medwin to got that. He moved at least 10 to 15 yards to get in position. Now then, Jones got the chance to streak away again. Medwin moving quickly down the middle. There's Medwin again. Phillips, number 10. That's the score with 3 minutes left. Now here's White. Blanchflower. Now Mackay has had to curb his attacking ideas a lot under this new system that Spurs have been playing in defence. This is Jones, down he goes, and it's Moran who trips him. Cliff Jones, number 10 Greaves, and no doubt Blanchflower will take this. It's Blanchflower and Mackay both around, and Blanchflower to Greaves, maybe number 6. Now White, Smith, oh, and it's up the line by Baxter, and the free kick right on the edge of the penalty area as Blanchflower gets brought down. Are we going to have a little chip from Blanchflower or what, this free kick? First of all, we're going to get the Ipswich defenders back 10 yards from the ball. Mackay. And the corner. Minute left for play. So no doubt about who's going to win this match. And it's Greaves going to take the corner. It's Baker. No, fight. This is Medwin. And Greaves is offside. Well, only seconds left. That's the score. That's Ledbetter. Now through to Crawford. And Moran to Ellsworthy, who's got a championship medal from each division except the 4th. Corner. Ledbetter was in the 3rd Division Championship side, the 2nd Division Championship side, and the 1st Division Championship side. Oh, we're playing the extra time added on for any stoppages now. Mr. Dacknell looking at his watch, and the whistle has gone. Spurs have won the FA Charity Shield, beating Ipswich 5-1. Greaves 2, Smith, White and Medwin for Spurs, Stevenson for Ipswich. So there's the final score. Tottenham Hotspur have won the FA Charity Shield, and with that news, it's good afternoon from Ipswich.